Another long-running and popular series on the Famicom has reached its end on the platform with Hiryu no Ken Special Fighting Wars. This is the fourth Hiryu no Ken game on the Famicom, and in a fitting way it represents a change in focus for the series. The first three Hiryu no Ken games had you take part in some side-scrolling action, and then go into one-on-one fighting tournaments with the villains. They were very good examples of what I'd call proto-fighters. Games that had the general structure of fighting games, but very different mechanics from what we'd associate with fighting games. Of course, 4 months before Hiryu no Ken Special was released, the world changed. Street Fighter II hit arcades and became the biggest thing since Space Invaders. I don't have any proof, but I strongly suspect that Hiryu no Ken Special was quickly rushed into production when Culture Brain saw what a monumental hit Street Fighter II would be. Just due to how long it takes to produce cartridges, I don't think they were responding to Street Fighter II's release. But there are a few things that make me go, I wonder if they did that because it was in Street Fighter II. For example, you have 12 characters to choose from, and you pick them out by selecting their face. There's no indication on the character select screen that there's more than 4. You just have to keep going off the side of the screen and it'll go to the new page. And while I said 12 characters, it's really 8. 4 of them are just recolors of the other characters. Returning from the previous games are Ryohei, who was the main character in all 3, Hayato, Waida, and Shoryu. I think the rest are original, but these are games with pretty huge casts, so I might have overlooked someone. While there are 8 different fighting styles on display in the game, all of them function the same in the ring. The B button performs attacks, hitting A button will jump. Hitting A and B together will do a special move, assuming you meet the requirements for it. That might be building up enough power meter, which is below your life meter, or just having somebody grappled appropriately. Returning from the previous Hiryu no Ken games is the mark system, where dots will appear showing you where someone is vulnerable or where they're about to attack. If you're about to get hit, you should push in that direction without hitting a button, and that will block the attack. Sometimes while you're fighting, those markers will appear as stars, and if you connect with one of them, then your opponent becomes stunned and you can unleash a flurry of blows. I found that these moments of being stunned were the most effective way to reduce the opponent's health. You're able to turn off the markers if you want to while you're setting up the game, but in those events I found the characters to be just about unreadable, so I left them on. There are 4 different game modes in Hiryu no Ken Special. A story mode where you climb the ranks of international fighting, completing several different tournaments. A tag team battle where you just do one tournament. Versus mode when you just want to play against your friend. And an elimination battle where you pick out 4 fighters and then have to beat a different team of 4 fighters. Hiryu no Ken Special has some RPG-style features. When you pick a character, you're allowed to adjust their stats. There's 8 different statistics for you to tweak. Things like arm strength, leg strength, health. Then, as you're fighting, you'll earn money in matches, and you can spend that on additional training. The early ones just demonstrate for you how some techniques in the game work, while later ones allow you to mash a button to build up a power bar, and then get points that you can assign to your stats from that. You can also get a password for your characters, and so the character that you build up in story mode could be imported to one of the other versus modes. There isn't much more to Hiryu no Ken Special than this. All of the arenas are the same boxing ring. You can throw people out of bounds, but it doesn't do anything. If you're knocked down and you have health left, you get the same meter to get back up as you do if you're a wrestler and use a grapple. And just like the previous Hiryu no Ken games, the controls are really finicky. The timing for special moves in particular is really a pain. But everything moves stiffly, you can't really maneuver. Jumping into the air just means you're going to get hit, and there's a lot of weird skips in the character animation when you move towards or away from someone. The thing that really grinds the combat to the halt is anytime a character gets thrown, you have to wait until they get back up again. If you get thrown, at least you have something to do as you mash to get back up. But your opponent isn't, and so you just have to sit there and wait. It's not like they're going to be counted out while they still have energy left. While the first Hiryu no Ken game had its fans in Japan, probably due to being one of the big titles at the height of the Famicom boom, I can't really find a whole lot of fans of Special. Or the later games for that matter, as the series transitions into being some pretty weak fighting games. I found the whole Hiryu no Ken series to be a bit clunky, and the one-on-one fights were actually my least favorite part of those games. So needless to say, I did not enjoy Hiryu no Ken Special. To me, the most interesting thing about the game is its timing. This is the first console game that really could be pointed to as a competitor to Street Fighter II, and it really comes up short in that regard.